Hello, everyone. My name is Steven Rabinowitz, even though you cannot see me on screen right now. And this is World Cup 2026 Extra Time. Over the last 3 weeks, we've been doing previews of all 12 groups. But eventually, after June 28th, those group play games will go into single elimination games. And there are 5 rounds this year. And our job today is to, with the predictions that we've done, tell you exactly what the games are going to be and who's going to win. So we are going to go through this line by line. This is how the bracket will go. We have done the previews. We're going to tell you exactly who we think is going to win. So let's start on your top left. The Group E winner, Ecuador. This would be where Germany could possibly be, but I think Ecuador is going to win this group, going up against Australia, who we have as one of the third place teams coming out of Group D. I kind of think this is going to be Ecuador here because I want to give them a little bit of respect. I think Ecuador is going to have a very good round of World Cup. Their defense is amazing. And again, they have Moises Caicedo, who is one of the best midfielders in the world. There's not a lot of Australia that I know as much about, but I just think that's a group where I think you're going to see them get 4 points and be here. But I think Ecuador is too much, and I think they're going to keep their Cinderella story going and get to the round of 16. All right, let's take a look at the next game. This would be at MetLife, France and Egypt. France, I wouldn't say easily winning Group I, but I do have them doing pretty well over Senegal and Norway, at least winning the group to start with. France has the most talent, is the most talented team in the tournament. They're going to lose some people. William Saliba has an injury, and Hugo Ekitike has a torn Achilles, but they're still one of the favorites. Third favorites to win the World Cup. Ironically enough, the seventh best odds to advance out of the round of 32, because it looks like when you look into Group G, they could find themselves facing Belgium here. I doubt it. There's many ways over here. I have them facing Egypt, and even though Egypt does have Mo Salah, there's lack of success. Getting to this point in the World Cup will be a good story for them, but I think this ends here. So I have France advancing. Moving on, Czechia and Canada. This would be the first game of the knockout stage because it's the first two groups. Their runners up against the others' runners up. Canada and Czechia, they both can easily win their groups. I think they are in good standing to possibly do so. Having them over South Korea is a little bit of a surprise, Czechia, but I do think they are going to be the team that comes out of here just because I think they're a better team to stand playing with Mexico, and I think they could easily get a draw out of them. Canada, everything is on the table for them. Everything is on the table. They didn't win any games in 2022, but they have a guy who has played who's managing him, Jesse Marsch, who is ready to press, who's ready to go. And I don't think they win the group over Switzerland, but I think they win. They have a good matchup here, and I think they win here to make their first ever round of 16 and get their first ever win in the knockout rounds of a FIFA World Cup. This game is insane. Netherlands, Brazil. This would be a Mexico game that would happen on the second day of knockouts on Monday, June 29th, if possible. This would be nuts. And the reason I have this happening here is I just have Morocco winning the group over Brazil. I like the way that they've played, and I think they're just a frustrating team to play. And Brazil's not the same team that they were. And this is the worst possible matchup for them. I like to predict some weird shit to happen in a World Cup. And why not weird shit like Brazil being out before even the round of 16? So I have the Netherlands advancing here. We'll get to what that means the next round after this. We're going to go through each group round by round. Moving down, this is a game that would be taking place on July 2nd towards the end of the knockout rounds. It'd be a Toronto game. This would be a fun one. Portugal, who I have as the second place group in Group K. I do like Portugal overall, but I like Colombia a little bit better. They did win the Nations League last year. Roberto Martinez has proven that he can coach multiple teams, in national play. But again, where are you going to fit Ronaldo in this whole group of things? And that's what my big problem is. And that's why I have Panama beating them. Yeah, I think Panama, who has probably the group of death coming out of this round, I surely think Panama has this, has a very interesting round of 32 on the way. And this is like one team who I think a lot of people don't think are going to make it into the round of 32 that I do, and I have them making it even one round farther. So we'll see what happens. Spain and Algeria. This is a good matchup for Spain, who I think will easily get through Group H. Uruguay will give them a little bit of trouble, but I don't think too much. And then Algeria is another group like Austria, Jordan, two teams that are solid. Argentina's going to win Group J. I can't see anything else happening. I'm not, like I said, we're not bullish about Argentina, but this is a good matchup for Spain, and I do think Spain will take this one down. Moving down to the United States. I have them winning Group D. It ain't easy, that's for sure. And I really was troubling. I do have between them and Turkey, and I do think it's going to be one of those two in this matchup, which will be July 1 in San Francisco. Bosnia is a tough one, another team that I don't that has a less than 50% chance of advancing in a lot of metrics going into this, but I surely think this team has what it takes to at least get points off of Qatar, even Canada, even Switzerland. I said all you need is four. Beat Qatar and just get one draw and get to here. But I do think this is a matchup. This is a matchup that could easily go to extra time. No, because Bosnia's goalie did very, very well in their matchup, eliminating Italy. So this would be a good storyline, but I do think US just gets the job done. Seattle earlier that day, I have Belgium and South Korea. That's a pretty bad matchup for the US, regardless of who would win this. But I do think Belgium is going to win this and set up a rematch of 2014 in that round of 16. South Korea is good, but I do think South Korea is on, if there's like a first and a second level here, that there's a third level of teams. This is not the best South Korea teams. It's not one of the better South Korea teams than they've had in their golden generations. So I do think they make it out of the group as a third place team, but I do think Belgium gets the job done. All right, this is the other half of the bracket, starting with Morocco and Japan. This is a fun one. This would actually be very good to see in the round of 32. This would be the second game of the knockout stage. And it would be rare because you don't get to see, usually when you get to this stage, regardless of a knockout stage, it's going to be a European team or a South American team. But here it's not. It's going to be Morocco, who would be trying to come off a run where they got 3 wins in the knockouts at Qatar. And Japan, they almost got themselves a win. They actually have a 90% chance to get out of Group F. They are pretty considerable favorite in my mind to at least win second place. But I just think Japan is just they also are losing their best attacker. You may not expect them to make a deep run, but you know what? They lost that, by the way. Yeah, Japan that lost their big attacker, Karo Mitoma. And I still think they win this match. And this is again, weird shit happens in the round of 32. And even though I have Morocco winning the group, I have them losing this match in this place. This is fun. Germany and Norway. Let's go. Norway with Erling Haaland. And I think that group is with France and Senegal and Iraq is a tough one. And you have a creator. You have a creator of chances of Martin Odegaard, and you have Erling Haaland, the best scorer of chances. And I think they can get five. I think they can get 5 to 7 points out of that group and easily get the second place in Group I. We kind of talked about it earlier because I showed that I have Ecuador winning Group E. So I have Germany finishing second, and I have Norway winning here because a lot of people have Norway making a run in their predictions. And I think it's a legitimate one just because if you have the best player on the field, you have a good chance. And the best player on the field that day would be Erling Haaland. So I have Norway winning this. Let's move down. Mexico and Sweden, the neighbor of one of the Scandinavian countries by Norway. Sweden looks good. They're kind of still in the lower half of teams in this World Cup, as we've talked about before. But Mexico is not losing their first their first playoff game, their first knockout game in the round of 32 right here. They have a good, like I said, they have a very good draw, and I can't see Sweden coming out of here. So I do have Mexico winning in this matchup. Moving down, England and Senegal. Didn't like the way Senegal played in their friendly against the US about a week ago. England, I can't say any bad thing. I can't say any bad things about them right now. They have the second fewest possessions per game, produced the second fewest possessions of game, allowed the joint fewest goals, allowed the second fewest shots, scored the second most goals from set pieces. They are a beast, and I think they still are. And I think they're the team that is going to be very dangerous. And here, a nice early start in Atlanta. I think they win here. Last two. Argentina Uruguay is a blockbuster for a round of 32, especially in Miami. Uruguay does have a lot of talent. We kind of talked about what this team is going to look like, especially against against Spain. Spain is the best team in this group, so don't think that's going to happen. But it's Argentina still has some of the best talent in the entire world, and Argentina still has a very good draw here. There's not a lot of teams that can top Argentina off on a year when they are off, but now they're loose and all the questions have been answered. Now the only thing they need to do is repeat. So I have Argentina coming out of here. Final matchup. Second to final match. I'm sorry, third to final matchup. Turkey and Iran. This is going to be fun. Both of these teams are kind of beasts out there and are going to really play good defensive football. But I just think Turkey is a team that could easily win the group D. And I think Iran, after what was a kind of slow FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar, I like I said, I do like them in this group with Egypt and New Zealand, and second team has some events since Iran, but I do have Turkey coming out of this matchup and making them around the 16. This is the second to last match. Switzerland and Austria. Austria and Switzerland in Vancouver. Wow, that is just not your typical matchup out there, but you don't usually see two teams like that in this stage. But I kind of again, I had this happen with Morocco. I'm gonna have it happen again. I kind of have Austria winning here. This is more of a vibe, I think, for me, and I don't know why. Because I don't even think they finished second in this group. I think they finished third. There's 65% chance of advancing on metrics, but I think that this is just a good matchup. In fact, what's funny is whoever finishes second in Group J gets Spain most likely in the round of 32. So this is almost a better path for Austria. I have them winning here, and I have them going on to the round of 16. Sorry, Switzerland, you can win a group finally, but you ain't win your match. And then Colombia, Croatia. This is where I have Colombia winning. This is another really good matchup. This would be the last matchup of the round of 32. I have Croatia falling here. I think eventually Colombia is kind of the South American version of Croatia, aging star in James Rodriguez, but they have a lot more youth around it. and they are almost like a top 10 team out there. And they are going to, in terms of, even though they are FIFA ranked in the teens, they're almost a top 10 team out there in my book. And I think they're going to make a deep run here. So I have them going round of 16. All right, round of 16. Now we can go a little bit faster since we kind of talked about all the teams. All right. This would be in Philadelphia on the 4th of July, Ecuador and France. Nice job, Ecuador, but unfortunately your time runs out here. And I think that's pretty fair because France is still one of the nations, is still one of the world's best. They have the Champions League title for the second year in a row with PSG. There's a lot of homegrown players from that going over to here. France is just too good right now to lose in this round of 16. So I have them advancing. Have the Netherlands advancing over Canada. Good story for Canada, but Canada did seem a little starstruck when it came to the big moments of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. It's not a shame to lose out here, and I think they will here. Panama, Spain, again, great story if Panama gets themselves to the round of 16 in this, but Spain is still one of the world's best, and I think it's almost a crime to really put Spain and France in the same portion of the World Cup draw because that's the two best teams probably in this FIFA World Cup playing each other in a possible semifinal. But I have Spain winning here, and then this matchup. This is a tough one because this is not the best Belgian team that we've seen in the past. Belgium kind of flaked out in 2022. Jeremy Doku is the only real star of this roster. And again, 2022, they didn't get out of the group stages. That was when the roster was significantly better, but there's just something about this team that in this draw, and I don't think USA, with all of their star power, with all of their experience, is ready to win a big matchup like this. So I have Belgium advancing. I have Norway advancing over Japan. I'm not letting the Erling Haaland train get derailed here. Don't mind my dog. I have England beating Mexico. This would be a fun matchup and by far the biggest matchup of the round of 16, but England is just too good, I think, right now to even overcome home field advantage. So I have England beating Mexico. I have Argentina beating Turkey. Be a good game for both, I think, and I think it would be a good setup for Argentina from what's, I think, coming next. But the final one here, Austria, Colombia. Colombia is a little more talented. I think Colombia right now will be making some huge waves in this World Cup. I think it's almost like a last gasp for some of their players too. So I have Colombia getting to the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals are, this is huge. And you know what? I was initially going before looking at this draw that I think the Netherlands could win this whole thing. But I don't think I think a special team needs to be the one that takes out France, and that's not the Netherlands. Again, this is more of a vibes thing, I think, and I think this goes to penalties, but I think France comes out of this matchup and moves to the semifinals. I think Spain will come out of their matchup against Belgium. Yes. You know, there's going to be 6 teams from UEFA here, and just 2 teams from CONMEBOL, and then everyone else is out. It's the way a lot of World Cups are. It's very rare to see another team make a run. Remember, we just got our first African semifinalist after this year. So I have Spain coming out of this matchup. This matchup in Miami is going to be fun, but I do think this is where Norway's fun ends, unfortunately. I think England beats them. Argentina, Colombia. This is good. This is really good if it happens. And I have Colombia pulling off the upset here and making it to the semifinals. I do think there's a team that's going to beat the defending world champions. Let it be a team from your own confederation. So that leaves us with the final 4. These games will be afternoon games on the 10th and 11th. I'm sorry, the 14th and the 15th. France-Spain is a almost de facto final in itself. But I have France coming out of this matchup. A little bit of a surprise because I think the order of a lot of people would have Spain over France and a lot of different pick'ems and stuff like that. But I do think right now the best team in the world is still France, regardless of what they're injured at. They still have some of the best players and they still have the best real structure with Didier Deschamps as their manager. And then I have England beating Colombia. This will be fun too, by the way. These matchups are obviously when you get to the finals segments of a World Cup, it doesn't seem too much crazy. I have England winning, and that'll lead us with down Spain, Colombia for third place. It's always weird saying the third place matchup because you don't know who is going to be like the crazy players who want to play in this game. We'll go Spain for third place because this group has had a lot of weird results since 2010's championship, and I do think a third place seems online for them. And then I have England winning it all. I have France going to 3 finals in 3 World Cups is insane, and I think this is a golden generation for France. But I truly think England is going to win it all. My World Cup pick is going to be the 3 Lions finally getting back on top for the first time in 60 years. I'm going to stop my share and actually show myself on screen. That is my picks for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. That is what these predictions have led to. This entire Word document and everything else in between. Remember to, okay, so plan going forward is we are going to do multiple reaction shows a day. Sometimes we'll do one, but especially for the first week, we're planning to try to do multiple reaction shows a day. We're going to try to do like a reaction segment or a reaction video for every 1 or 2 games out there. Any big news, we will do reaction videos. This is your FIFA World Cup feed place. Remember to go to our socials, Instagram, WCE Extra Time, World Cup 2026 Extra Time on Facebook, World Cup 2026 Extra Time on YouTube. There will be one more video coming out before we start everything, and that'll be a little more of a deep dive into what the U.S. is planning on in this World Cup and what I expect to see with the U.S. Thank you for watching. My name is Steven Rabinowitz. Thank you for watching. Prediction sure to go wrong. FIFA World Cup 2026 Extra Time. Thank you for watching.